Hello, welcome. Today we're going to take a look at how to draw our gray and blue blocks for our 3D cube. Remember, at any point in time during this video, you can fast forward, you can rewind, and you can start over if you would like. Okay, so first we're going to start off. Let me switch to my home screen. We're going to open up a Citrix workspace, and we're going to launch Autodesk Inventor. Remember, once Autodesk Inventor launches, it's going to ask you to enter into your credentials. Your username is your first initial last name 000, and your password is your lunch code plus your 3-digit safe word. Once you're finished with that, touch sign in. And Autodesk Inventor is going to load. We're going to start off with our gray block. It's going to be a 1" by 1" square. And as your Citrix is loading up with your Inventor, we'll take a minute for it to launch. If things are going slower on your end, you can always press pause on this video in order to get caught up. Okay? First off, we're going to take and we're going to open up our shade at the top. Remember, that's just touching on that pull down arrow for the shade. We're going to activate our keyboard. And we want to pin by pressing this little pin on the right hand top corner of the keyboard to make it turn to blue. Then we're going to put our keyboard away, and you see how that top keyboard stays up. Next, we're going to take a look, pull down our shade, get our pointer. I'm going to take my pointer and I'm going to close out this bottom X right here. So now we start off with a gray screen. Then I'm going to take my pointer, go up into our ribbon bar. Remember, our ribbon bar is this area that's above the main window. And we're going to touch New. Once our New opens up, we want to select this icon right here, which is standard.ipt. Click to select it, and then you can click Create. Once your drawing opens up, our tools at the top in the ribbon bar are going to change. And we're going to go up to the top, and we're going to select from the top ribbon bar this drawing with the green plus mark. We're going to start a 2D sketch. As we talked about in class, we're always going to draw on the XY plane. So there's different planes that we can draw on here. We're going to draw on the XY plane. When it highlights red, touch in order to select that plane. Next, we're going to zoom out. It's a good way to start every drawing. We're going to come over here to the world view, and we're going to click on front. This world view is in the upper right hand corner. Then, to begin with, I am going to come up and I'm going to select rectangle from my menu at the top. It's just above the create word. Go up and select rectangle. When you bring your cursor down into the sketching area, you can see that the cursor has a yellow dot following along. When I bring it to the origin, those yellow dots match up and we get a green dot. Once we get a green dot, we're going to touch and stretch out a rectangle. Now, if you did not come directly on that origin, right down here in the intersection there, we can press the escape key at the bottom where our keyboard shortcuts are, and we can try that again. So let's go up to the top, get rectangle, and we want to get that lined up right on that origin. When it turns green, touch and stretch out a rectangle. That origin has to start from the origin. Next, you see these boxes that are on the top and right side of my square. So for that, I'm going to pull up my keyboard and I want to change the dimension that's in there. So I'm going to touch my keyboard to bring that up. I like entering in numbers from the keypad portion, so I'm going to change over to the keypad. And my top number is going to be 1. I'm going to fill that box with the number 1. Then I'm going to press the tab key above my keyboard. The second number I'm going to enter in is 1 again. So that has a horizontal dimension of 1 and a vertical dimension of 1. Press return on the keyboard, put your keyboard away, and now we're going to take our cursor, come up to the top right hand corner of our screen, and we're going to select Finish Sketch, the green check mark in the upper right hand corner. You can see it kind of zoomed a little large, so I'm going to come down here to my world view, and you can see that there's this little house right here. That's your home. So touch on that in order to go home. Next, notice that our tools at the top in our ribbon bar have changed. It gave us some new ones. So now we want to take and we want to extrude. So we want to come up here to the top, go to Extrude, right next to Start 2D Sketch, touch to select that. First thing we want to do is make this go in a flip direction, which is direction number 2. This one right here. We want to click flip, go in the opposite direction, and next we want to enter in a distance that we want this to go. So I'm going to put my cursor in that window right here, and I'm going to pull up my keyboard. With my keyboard pulled up, I'm going to delete everything that's in the box there, and I'm going to switch over to my keys. You can swipe down on the numbers if you would like, and I'm going to enter in 2. So I want this to be extruded back 2 inches. Put your keyboard away, and we're going to select OK. That's our gray block. So now we want to go take and save this to our H drive. So I'm going to come up to the top to File, the orange file, in the top left-hand corner. I'm going to take and click to select that, and I'm going to pull down to Save As. Touch Save As, and now we're going to go to our H drive. Your H drive should be from the pull-down menu here. And we're going to go all the way down to the bottom to where it says first initial last name 000, and it has a gray box with a green line underneath it right here. And then we're going to select your H drive. Okay, I have an H drive made for each class. All you need to do is go to your first initial last name 000. Okay, once we're in there, there shouldn't be anything in your H drive, and then we're down here at the bottom where it says Part 1. We are going to enter in by opening up our keyboard. Now notice, let me put that away. Do you notice how I have this highlighted here first? Okay, Part 1 I have highlighted. Now I'm going to open up my keyboard, and I'm going to enter in gray block. Okay, so down in this window right here for file name, I've typed gray block, and then I'm going to select save. Okay, so now we have the gray block saved. We're going to come up here to the top, and we have 2 X's up here, remember? This top one we don't ever want to select, but we're going to close out this bottom one down here. So we're going to close that window out, and we're going to start a new drawing. That was our gray block. Next we need our blue. So we're going to select New, Standard IPT, and we're going to come down and select Create. Once again, we're going to go up to the top left-hand corner, and we're going to select 2D Sketch, the drawing with the green plus mark in the top left corner. And we're always going to draw on the XY plane. Once that's highlighted red, touch to select it. Just like our last drawing, we're going to select front in our world view cube in order to zoom back a little bit. And we're going to begin with a rectangle tool again, this one right here. We want to begin from our origin, so get your yellow dots to line up and turn to green dot. We're going to touch and stretch out another rectangle. Okay, this one is also going to be a 1 inch by 1 inch square. So I'm going to open up my keyboard, switch to my numbered pad. I'm going to type 1, press the tab key on the keyboard, type 1 again. So I have 1 on a vertical dimension and 1 for my horizontal dimension, and then press return on your keyboard. Put your keyboard away. Excellent. Now we're going to come up to the top right hand corner, green check mark, finish sketch. Right up here in the top right hand corner, green check mark, finish sketch. And once again, it zoomed kind of big, so I'm going to take and go to my home button right here, and I'm going to select home. Then I'm going to extrude. Now this extrusion is going to be a little different. So extrude is right here. Click on extrude. We definitely do want to be in direction number 2, which is the flip direction. However, for our distance, we're going to change this distance, highlight that window first, then we're going to open up our keyboard, and we're going to change that distance to 4 inches. Put your keyboard away. So I have direction number 2, which is the flip direction, and I have 4 inches, and you can see that this is going out and away from us. And then select OK in this window. I'm going to come over to view my whole block. I'm going to select my home button. Okay, that gets everything on the screen. Now we already have a gray block. This is going to be our blue block, so let's go up to the top and change our color scheme. So right up here in the top, generic, then there's a color wheel, then there's these 2 little sideways arrows. We're going to touch on that, and we're going to select default window, and we're going to scroll down. Actually, we need to scroll up. And we're going to go to Blue Wall Paint Glossy. Okay, let me show you that again. At any time if you want, you can go up here above the Sketch tab, the Revolve and the Extrude, and I can select Undo. Or I could have done that down here in the bottom. Select Undo on my keypad. Okay, two different ways to do that. So let's show you how to change that color again. With my pointer tool, from the pull down shade, I'm going to come up to the top. At the top of your screen, you're going to see generic, this color wheel, and then there's these two sideways arrows. We're going to select our default material, bring your cursor over to the slider that's on the side, and we're going to scroll up until we get to the B's, and we're going to select Blue Wall Paint Glossy, this one right here. Okay, now you have the blue cube drawn, or blue block drawn as well. We need to save this to our H drive, so we're going to come over here to our orange file tab. We're going to touch to open it up, and we're going to come down to Save As. Now it should automatically link to your H drive again. You can see I'm first initial last name 000, my gray block's in there. If it doesn't automatically link to your H drive, if you touch on this little pull down arrow, you're going to scroll all the way down to the bottom where you see your first initial last name 000, this gray block with the green line underneath it. Okay? Then we're going to change the file name on this one. So file name, we're going to change part 2. Once it highlights blue, we're going to open up our keyboard. And we're going to enter in the file name blue block. Looks like I got one too many letters in there. So let's open up my keyboard again. And try that again. Okay, got blue block in there. Now I'm going to come down and select Save. Awesome job. You now have your gray block and your blue block drawn, and you're ready for the assembly. The assembly is going to be next lesson in class when I see you face to face. Have a great day. Have a great day, and we'll see you in class. Make sure you're ready by having your blue block and gray block drawn, please.